decided to start this vlog on a Sunday, and like most Sundays, I pretty much spent a good 20-30 minutes cleaning. I had a little bit extra to do this week because I'm recovering from a migraine, so I had let some dishes pile up, and so that took a little bit to do, but felt really good to have it done. And now my apartment is nice and clean, and that is always a nice way to start the week. Hello, welcome back to one of my vlogs. I think this would be vlog number 2, and it's Sunday, so I'm gonna try not to do too much work today. I just cleaned my kitchen and my bedroom because, as I probably mentioned in that clip, I'm on the recovering end of a migraine, and so I let some things, go slack a little bit as far as keeping my house clean, as one does when one's sick. And so I just was catching up on some cleaning. Since it's Sunday, I'm probably not going to do too much work today. I'm probably going to, I'm going to try not to do too much work. I find, like, as a webcomic creator, it is my singular focus. It is my hobby and my job, and so I love working on the weekends, which is not always so great for work-life balance, but I probably will do some work on it because I'm excited to be working on my comic, but I also want to make sure I rest some today and don't overexert myself so that tomorrow, which would be like the beginning of the week, I can start kind of really strong and not have been tired myself out from working on the weekend. But I'm trying to think of what else I was gonna say. Oh yeah, today is Sunday and it's an upload day, so I'll be uploading an episode of my webcomic Beneath the Camphor Tree to Webtoon and Tapas. And I'm really excited about today because I won't go into too many details because I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't read the comic yet, or obviously who have not read this episode yet. But let's just say I pulled an arcane a little bit, not in quality but in storytelling technique a little bit, and you'll see when you read the episode after this one what I mean. But I was inspired a little bit by arcane with this episode. It's actually an episode I inserted, like I did recently. So originally episode 15 of season 1 was done like back in February or March of 2022, and I just this past month inserted a new episode 15 in between what like episode 14 and what was episode 15, now 16, because I wasn't satisfied with how I did it. It's a really kind of important part of the story, and especially not romance wise but for the female lead, and I wanted to up the ante a bit. So I made a new episode, inserted it in there. We'll see how people react. It'll be interesting. That's partly why I want to vlog today, is to kind of show my reaction to people reacting. We'll see if I want to film that, but it'll be interesting. I think people are going to be really shocked by this episode, and hopefully they catch on to something that is key in this episode, and so it'll be interesting to see people's reactions. But yeah, so basically today is I'm going to try to chill and relax today. I'm going to try not to do too much work, but I probably will because it's a long day, it's stormy out. It's a cozy day, so I might just like watch K-dramas all day, but I also want to work, and so that is something I'm working on personally, is like coming up with some kind of work-life balance. But yeah, this is a long clip now. It's 3.5 minutes pretty much, so I'll stop it here. So I updated my work settings. I just wanted to show like my workspace. I wanted to show what it looked like now because I think it's kind of cute now. It's not as chaotic and there's more to it now, which is fun. And yeah, that's where I work. So I did the update, I posted the episode, and everyone is reacting marvelously, just how I wanted them to, which is very exciting. I always get so nervous when it's time to post an update. This time I feel like I had a reason to be nervous because I wasn't sure how people would react to this episode. But in general, it's like, afterwards I'm always like, why was I so nervous about posting this episode or this update or this chapter, whatever you want to call Webtoon, webcomic updates. And it's just funny because it's like leading up to the update hour or the update day, I'm always so nervous and like, oh, should I be doing this? Should I be posting this? Do I need to change something so it's better? I don't know. I get really nervous posting updates, and then afterwards it's always like, normally it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. So just yet again, lesson learned. So like I predicted, I could not stay away from work this morning. I wanted to get started because I'm working on the final episodes for season 1 of my webcomic, and I have quite a few episodes to go before, like a good 8 or 9 episodes before the actual end of the season. But they're all episodes I've been eager to get to, and so like for over a year eager to get to, and so I'm just like raring to go. And also it's Sunday, it's a lazy day, I don't really want to do anything else. Like, I'm not someone who can just sit and watch TV. I always have to be doing something while I'm being entertained. I have to have double entertainment, I guess, that extra. But basically I just wanted to get some work done because I had nothing else to do. I'd already cleaned. I didn't really want to go grocery shopping today because it's nasty weather out, so didn't really have any food to prep, and basically I just felt like working. And so I promised myself I would not do any more work today. I would just work on the morning, I'd finish the sketches, and we'll see if I actually hold true to that, if I actually don't do any more work today and just relax. But yeah, so I just finished the sketches of this episode, and that's pretty much my morning. So on Monday, I basically just plugged along for some of the day on line art and other things like that. I'll go into more detail in the next clip, but I just wanted to give a little indication that it was a new day and that I was working on new stuff. So I'm just working on sketches for episode 32. I'm working on the inking and the flatting today, and I am dragging my feet on it because I relaunched my Patreon, and so I've been very distracted with making sure that is all up and running. But yeah, so I have, I think, like 2 pages or 1.5 pages left to ink, and then I will be done with the inks, and hopefully I can get colors done today as well. But we'll see if I have time to do that. It shouldn't take me too long to finish the inks, but we'll see. So yeah, that is my update for Monday. You probably saw a clip earlier of me working on the inks. I think I filmed something. Let me know below in the comments if you prefer like time lapses with maybe music or voiceover over them, or if you prefer short updates in vlogs like, oh, I finished the inks. I don't know which you guys like better. So I don't remember what I filmed yesterday besides just like some stuff about the line art, but I did not do much else on my comic yesterday Besides the line art, I wasn't feeling very good yesterday, so I just kind of stuck to the minimum of what I had to do for my comic. And today I am working on colors, basically finishing this episode is what I would like to do. And so I will, I'm still not feeling great, so I'm not gonna probably do too much talking today, but except to give little updates. But I will film some time lapses of working on the comic and on this episode and see how far I get. It's pretty early, it's like 7 a.m. and I've already done the first page of colors. I think, yeah, the first page of colors, and I tend to wake up pretty early and like usually 5 a.m. or lately I've been waking up around 5 a.m. Sometimes I get into like waking up 4 or 3:30 a.m. Luckily, I'm in a better routine now of where just like I wake up at 5, I get up, I'm kind of do things around the house for a half hour, and then I just start work. And so that's what I'm doing right now, is starting the day. So I finished the colors. That did not take very long. It only took about, say, 15-20 minutes maybe. And so I'm gonna go on to the stage that I call embellishments or extras, and that's basically adding like blushes and clothing patterns and nose highlights and stuff like that to sort of bring it to life a little bit more. I finished the episode, which is very much yay. It took me a lot faster, like a lot less time than I thought it would. It's only 10:04, so the final stages, which I always think of as gonna take me like a whole half day, only took me maybe a couple hours. Because I didn't work the whole time since 7 a.m. But I don't want to show you too much because I don't want to spoil it, but I will show you. Hold on. Look how cute he is. So since it's not noon yet, and these are sort of like the morning hours or sort of when I tend to work on my comic, since I finished episode 32 of season 1, I'm gonna start episode 33 now. And I'm looking at the file and I remembered that I actually did the thumbnails already, so that's nice. I already know what is going to happen, like what it's going to look like. I just need to actually do it now. And so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And it's an episode I'm both looking forward to, but also it's going to take a little longer to finish than some, because there's some characters I have to finish some designs for, some major characters. One of them I already have designs for, the other ones I have to kind of figure out, and so I need to do some character designs for those. So that's probably what I'm going to do for the rest of today, is not actually the comic itself but the character designs. And then I'm also going to maybe make some more character extras, like background characters, because there's a couple crowd scenes in this, or like this whole episode takes place on a city street, so I need to make sure I can populate that street without necessarily drawing characters, like obviously up close characters that are extras, like not POV characters, but like characters in the background I'm gonna draw, but some far away where it's like blurred out a little bit because of whatever. I might use some character assets, and I'm going to maybe draw some of those as well. So that's sort of what I'm going to do for the rest of today on this Tuesday, but I have something I gotta do at the moment, and then I'll get into that. So on Wednesday, literally the only thing of consequence I did that was kind of interesting was that I made cucumber kimchi for the first time. And it wasn't a traditional recipe, but it was super good, and I've been eating it every day since. Hello, welcome back. It's been a couple of days since I last vlogged or filmed anything. I think the last time I filmed something was Tuesday or Wednesday, and it's been a couple days. The end of last week I wasn't able to do a whole lot of comic work, so I didn't really film much for the vlog, but yesterday I did some work, which was Saturday. Today is Sunday. I'm doing some work today to kind of try to make up for lost time, and this next week, of course, I'll be focusing my mornings on working on my comic. And I decided not to post this vlog yesterday, which would have been when I would have posted it had I filmed all week, because I didn't want to have like 3 days of content on a week vlog. So I decided to turn this into a 2-week vlog so that I have more content to put in it, and it's more interesting, hopefully. But yeah, so I just posted an episode to Patreon. I launched my Patreon this past week, which was really exciting. And I decided to post, I was going to post every other week to Webtoon and Tapas of my comic, but I decided for October I'm going to try to do weekly updates and see how that goes. And then because I have a big enough buffer and I'm staying on top of that buffer, and so I'm like, well, I might as well post weekly for the time being. So I'm going to do that for a while. Yeah, and just see how it goes, and I'm excited. So I have an episode. It's not a very exciting episode, but I have an episode to post today. I've gotten that ready, and let's see, any other updates for this week? I don't think so. I'm working on some content for Patreon today because I want to get ahead of that, because sometimes Patreon in the past has stressed me out when I get behind on stuff. So I just want to create a buffer for Patreon so that I can not be stressed about that specifically. That's what my ideal thing would be. And so yeah, so that I'm going to be filming the rest of this week, hopefully picking up my phone to film and record stuff every day, but if not, at least something every day I'm going to try to that's related to work in my comic. And so yes, let's get into it. Also, I put up more paintings on the walls. I'm trying to cover the walls with art and prints because I don't really like this brown paneling that my apartment has, and so I'm trying to cover it up. But yeah, so I just put that print up that I've had for a while. And then this is a little dark, but hopefully you can, and there's like reflections, but hopefully you can see the art kind of. I have, oh, here you go. I have this print which I got at the Van Gogh exhibit that I went to. And then these two are some Tolkien prints that are by, oh gosh, I don't remember the artist's name, but I will put on the screen if I can remember, or if I remember to look up what the artist's name was. But yeah, so those are my little art walls so far. So I have been working on a Patreon perk. That is what this is part of. And it's sort of like a bonus episode, but it's not related to, oops, it's out of focus. It's not related to the plot itself. It's more of like an alternate universe. And I don't want to tell too much about how it's an alternate universe unless you have read the prologue of my story. But basically, it's just a fun little extra story kind of thing I'm doing for my patrons. So that's fun. I just finished the inks and I'm going to work on finishing this episode today so that next week or this coming up week I can focus on actual canon episodes. So I finished 2 pages of colors, but I'm going to take a break for now because it is Sunday, and I think I was talking in this vlog about how I want to work on work-life balance and not working on the weekends, and so I should probably try to do that at some point. And so, oh gosh, I've said so many times. I am going to take a pause for now and come back later if I still want to work today. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. Hello, it is Tuesday, I think it's the 11th, and I am starting my work day. I am going to be working on some Patreon stuff today, as well as a new project I'm working on, and I will maybe go into more detail about that project in a future vlog, but you'll probably see me doing some preliminary stuff. So if you know what Preptober or NaNoWriMo is, I'm kind of doing the comic version of it for this project, and doing like in this month of October or Preptober, doing the planning, plotting, etc. So I have the story down, because one thing I did kind of wrong with Beneath the Camphor Tree was I knew when I started it how it was going to start, how it was going to end, but I didn't really know how I was going to get there very clearly, and it changed many times over the last couple of years, or not couple years, but year and a half. And it caused a lot of stress because I wasn't completely sure of my story. I wasn't very confident in my story because I went into it without everything planned out. And so with this new project I'm working on, I'm going to try to work on or think about working on. I haven't committed completely to doing it fully, but I'm going to, in October, plan it out and see how I feel about it afterwards. And yeah, I just want to have it all planned out. I want to have it all like figured out, plot-wise, story-wise, character-wise, character arcs, etc. So that there's less, like, I don't have to figure out how to do that stuff later on. And as far as Beneath the Camphor Tree, I'm not going to slow down production. I'm still going to try to get like a short episode done every week, for now at least. But this new project is going to be something I'm going to be working on in my spare time and sort of like on weekends if I feel like doing it on weekends. Yeah, I don't know. Anyone else who is an artist or creative find that they just are not just overachievers, but like overworking themselves all the time, and like almost like workaholics in when you do for pretty much a job what you love to do. It's so hard to scale back and not keep adding more and more creative projects to your plate. Like, I am always filling my time. If I have free time, I find something to do with that free time that is like related to my job and related to making comics and related to art and stuff. Like, it's so hard for me not to just work all the time because I love what I do. And so it's something I'm trying to work on, as you've probably noticed, especially in this vlog, of me talking about like work-life balance and trying not to overwork myself. But it's hard when you love what you do and you don't want to scale back. You just want to keep doing more and more. But I don't know, something I'm working on. So anyway, I'm gonna get into today's content, and I will film the time lapses this time because I filmed some in previous clips of this vlog, like, oh, I finished this episode and this episode, like I finished this part and this part, but I feel like that's very, like, I was editing yesterday, I think, or Sunday, I was editing those clips and I was like, oh, this feels really jumpy, like I'm just jumping from like update to update, I'm not showing like how I got there, and I feel like that is not as interesting. And now this clip is really long, it's like 4 minutes long, so I'm gonna end it here and I'm gonna do some time lapses, and you can tell me in the comments if you like watching the time lapses with a little voiceover or with, I don't know, I don't always have something to say, so sometimes it's just music. So if you prefer me just talking about updating you on where I am in the process, let me know. Or if you prefer little like rest periods of just music with time lapse of me working, let me know too if you don't mind that or like that better. So anyway. Alright, so I am bumping my phone. I have finished the flat colors of this episode, and I'm going to go on to doing the embellishments, or the extras as I call it. Like, I've talked about this before, but basically I'm just going to add blushes and character outfit patterns and any details that need to be added to the characters in post. Okay, so I have finished the episode. Oh, my phone is shaking. I finished the episode. That did not take too long, about 2 hours to finish. A little under 2 hours to finish, I think. And yeah, I'm going to upload this to Patreon and maybe post about it on social media. And yeah, other than that, I have some other work to do today, and I will talk about that when I get to it. So I ended up not doing any more comic work yesterday after I finished that episode, and so I had other stuff to do, and so it is now Wednesday the 12th, and I am going to be working on Beneath the Camphor Tree episode this time, like a canon episode this time. I'm still working on episode 33, and I am working on the sketches. I'll show a little closer. Kind of hard with the light coming in my window. That's kind of glaring on the screen, so I'll have to close the door. But yeah, I'm gonna work on the sketches for a bit, and hopefully my goal is to finish them today. I don't know if I will or not, because it's a bit more complicated of a episode as far as drawing goes, but I'm gonna try to finish them today.
10시 일기에 보는 맑음 햇살 밝은 오후 무작정 어딘가 향하는 발걸음 너와 자주 걷던 거리 어쩌면 너무 익숙해져 버린 습관과 같던 매일 너랑 기억에 갇혀 살아 하염없이 비가 내려
So I just finished the, or I'm working on the shading, and I did the colors for this bonus kind of content for Patreon. And yeah, that's pretty much what I have done for the last, I think, like 28 minutes, 30 minutes. And I'm about halfway done, or almost halfway done with the shading. So I hope to finish before noon. It's about 11:13 now. And if I can finish this episode before noon, that would be really great, because then I could just be done with it for the day. Done with this part. So yeah. Okay, it's been like a minute and I decided not to work on the episode before lunch. I'll just finish it, after I'm done with lunch. But because I suddenly felt in the mood to work on thumbnails, and in the past I have, like when I first started working on the comic, I'd always do the thumbnails digitally, because that's just what I thought people did. And then but I was always doing them the same way, like the same kind of panels, or like there was no variety or visual interest in what I was doing originally, I feel. And then some point partway through, I started doing thumbnails on paper, and I found that I actually really not only enjoyed the process, but it was easier for me to get outside of my head and do more variety in like panels and just the visual storytelling. And I feel like then it was just such a pain though to scan or take pictures and edit edit it and everything, that I quit doing it on paper and I started doing it digitally again, because it's just faster. But now that I don't have to do longer episodes anymore, and I also don't have to necessarily do an episode every single week if I don't have time for it, I'm gonna give trying doing thumbnails on paper a try again, just to see if I can get out of my head and kind of have more variety and more visual interest, and also just as a breakup of having to stare at a screen all the time, because I do get chronic migraines, so the less I can stare at a screen, the better. And so yeah, I'm gonna try using this notebook. It's a grid paper, which is, I don't know if that's ideal or not, but I'm gonna try it and just see how it works, and I'll let you guys know. Maybe I'll film some of the process, but yeah, I'm gonna spend half hour or 40 minutes and thumbnail some episodes and just see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, I can just, use them for later, or I don't have to worry about it, but just to try it out and just see if I like how it looks, because I tend to rely on the same kind of patterns when it comes to the visual of my comic. I don't mean like what the characters are necessarily. Sorry, I realized that was boring, just staring at a blank piece of paper. But I don't mean like what the characters are doing or stuff like that is always boring, but I feel like my panel structure and my pacing is boring, because I just stick to the same like square panels and same kind of pacing, and I don't play around with it, and I don't experiment as much when I do it digitally. And so that's why I want to try doing it on paper, because I feel like I'm not as rushed, and so I tend to think more, and I tend to think more about pacing and what the panels look like. And so yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. So as you can see, I have finished the thumbnails. These are the pages 3 through 8, and you can't really tell what's going on because I didn't really put too much dialogue into this paper itself, and also like you could chicken scratch from my thumbnails, but I know what's going on, so that's what matters. And yeah, what I think I'm going to do is just transfer it, like redraw it into Clip Studio Paint instead of trying to scan or take pictures and edit and everything. So I'm going to do that now, and that will be what I'll do. So I finished this bonus thing for Patreon, so that's good. I finally got it done. It's like, what time is it? I can't really read it on the screen. It's like 3:30, so a lot later than I hoped to get it done. I had other work I had to get done in the meantime, but yeah, so I have this done. I'm pretty satisfied. I'll talk more in my outro of the video how I feel like the last 2 weeks went, but at least I got this done, so that's good. So I just thought I'd film a quick outro because I feel like this past 2 weeks need some sort of closure so I can move on till next week's vlog without feeling too bad about how the last 2 weeks went. So basically I was originally going to do just a 1 week vlog, and then as you guys know, like I did not accomplish very much. I felt like that was pretty boring, and so I extended it to a 2 week vlog. And again, I feel like I did not accomplish much this past week on my comic. I mean, I did other things in my life and with work, but with my comic, with what I'm vlogging about, I feel like I did not accomplish much, and that was pretty disappointing because I feel like I could have done better with focus. I have ADHD, and so focus is something I struggle with, but yeah. This past 2 weeks could have gone a lot better. However, I'm hopeful that next week will go better. I feel like I've gotten some of my mojo, so to speak, back. I feel like today, like the last couple of days, I was really feeling down. Not about being productive or not, but just like low energy, not feeling productive, not feeling in a good mood, not feeling like I was doing well, like emotionally, and because of that was affecting how I was able to get work done. And now I'm starting to come out of that a little bit. I'm starting to have a little bit more energy, I hope, and I'm starting to just not be as like down. And so I'm hoping that next week I can keep this kind of beginning of new, renewed energy up and be able to be more productive and get more done. And so I did finish one episode. It wasn't for my comic specifically, it was for a Patreon extra that's related to my comic, but and I feel like I got another episode of something done. I feel like I got a Patreon thing done this past 2 weeks, but I can't remember. Next week, what I really want to do is finish episode 33 of season 1 for Beneath the Camphor Tree, like actually get that done. So we'll see. I mean, I'm like halfway done with it, or almost halfway, so I think I should be able to get it done. And then, yeah, that's kind of my biggest goal, is just to do that, work on my new project I'm working on, which I've decided not to do as a comic, because I just don't have time to do like 3 comic projects at once. But I'll do it as like a written novel, because I do like to write. I just don't always do it as often as I would like to anymore. And so work on that, work on Beneath the Camphor Tree episodes, some Patreon stuff, and that's kind of my goals for next week. And you will see in the next week's vlog, if I post it next week, or if it turns into another 2-week vlog, how I do with that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.